All right, it's time to work on the case study for Java Jam for Chapter 8. So in your student files for Chapter 8 Java Jam, I have opened menu and javajam.css in code. This pretty much starts and ends on page 392. This is not a big project, but they are kind of summarizing the instructions. So you'll have to do a little work in determining for these projects. Just make sure you read your instructions carefully. The task 1 is to copy the files over, but I've already done that for you. Task 2 is to configure the CSS. Modify the external style sheet. Open Java Jam in a text editor. If you look at the picture, and I'll just pull it up right here, this is eventually what we want this page to look like. So notice that we do not have a header here, but these are bold, and that's because they did use THs here. And then we use breaks, BR tags, to get these prices on a different line. That's not because of the length of the page. You see how when I'm making it smaller, those are on specific different lines. Okay, we are going to add style rules to javajam.css to configure a table that is centered, takes up 90% of the width of the container, is configured to have a 0 border spacing, has a background color, and the TH and TD selectors have 10 pixels of padding, and it displays a background color. In alternate rows, use a class or nth of type. Configure odd table rows to have a background color. Okay? All right, so this is what we're going to do. Let's go to our CSS, and I know that was a lot. You're just going to have to take it, when you work on these projects on your own, just take it step by step. Okay, so I am before my media queries, and you need to add this code when you do Fish Creek and Pacific Trails. Do it before your media queries. Your media queries should be the last things in your CSS for right now. I'm going to put a little extra space there. We are going to start with the table selector, and it said it wanted a width of 90%. It's taking up 90% of the browser window, and it wanted it centered. So to get a centered table, we use margin auto. It said use the border spacing 0 property to make sure that we don't have those double borders. And actually, we're not going to have any border at all. We're going to have a background color of this pale cream FFC, should be it. And that should be it for our table. Then it says for the TH and TD selectors, we want 10 pixels of padding. So let's do TH, comma, TD. That selects both of those elements. And we'll have padding of 10 pixels. And then it says we could use the nth of type or a class to configure alternating table rows to have a darker background. Now, I like the nth of type. I think it's shorter, so that's what I'm going to use. So we're going to say for every row, nth of type, and we want to do the odd this time. So it's going to be the first row, and I'm just getting this from looking at our image. The first row is a darker color, and then the last row is a darker color, so it's using the odd number rows. And we are going to apply a background color of D2, that's it, D2B48C. Okay, now this is not going to do anything because we don't yet have a table, because step 3 is to open menu, and where we currently have a description list, we are going to change this description list to then be a table. Now notice again in this image, these are bolded, so these are THs and these are TDs. And then we want to use breaks where appropriate, so that our price is on a different line. So we have like these breaks here, okay? So this is how I do it. You may choose to do it a different way. I'm going to leave my description list in there and just copy what I need to a new table, and then I'm just going to delete everything from my description list, okay? So below my description list closing, I'm going to open a table tag, and remember every table, we don't have a caption or anything for this, has rows, okay? So our first row, if we look back at our image, is this word just Java, and then this will be our second item in our row, okay? So TD, no, we're going to make those THs. And I'm going to copy just Java. Oh, I cut it, that's fine. And then the next one will be a TD. And if I do this correctly, my break is already in there and I don't have to add it again. So copy that. Make sure that you don't get your DD tags. There we go. So that's our first row. Let's refresh it in the browser. Currently it looked like this, and now if I refresh, it's going to be down there. I mean, I know this is not correct because we still have our description list that we haven't gotten rid of, but yes, this is looking good so far. Okay, so below that table row ending, let's start another table row, and our next item is the Café au Lait, which is right here. So I'm going to copy that. I need to create another TH, paste that, and then we'll have a TD that will have house blended coffee. Copy and paste. Okay, so I'm going to check that, make sure it's looking okay so far. Refresh. All right, it's looking good so far. Let's keep going. After that row, I'll have another table row. It will have a TH. I'm just going to go ahead and add these. It will have a TH. And a TD. And I'm just going to copy these over. Iced cappuccino in that TH. And sweetened espresso all the way down to 575 in that TD. Oh, I forgot my S. I'll just type it in. Okay, I'm done with this description list now, so I'm going to delete this whole description list from DL tag to DL tag. And now let's take a good look at this in the browser. I've lost my browser window, but we'll do it this way. And there we go, looks good. And that's it. That's all we have to do for Java Jam. So you work on Pacific Trails and Fish Creek on your own. Be sure to read the instructions carefully. If you have questions, let me know.